Charlize Ledger-Walker on how the 2022-2023 WSU women's basketball team became not only the first in WSU women's basketball history to win the PAC-12 championship, but also the first of all WSU women's sports to win the conference title. Introducing this session is Assistant Professor Molly Schautsko. Over her more than 15-year strategic communication industry career, she developed and ran successful marketing and communication campaigns and strategies for an array of audiences, including philanthropy, student recruitment, and promoting Washington State agricultural commodities internationally. Molly is a proud alumna of the Edward R. Murrow School of Communication, as she graduated with her bachelor's degree with an emphasis in public relations. She then earned her master's degree in sports management from the WSU College of Education. While a student at WSU, Molly earned academic honors with a 4-time letter winner in cross country and track and field, and was a former student athlete advisory committee president. Now, as an assistant professor, she teaches our advertising principles and practices course and our media strategies and techniques for advertising class. She continues to build a national reputation in sports promotion and communication, in addition to growing her local business, Miss Huddy's Barbecue. Please welcome Molly Schautsko.
Thank you all again. That's really awkward to hear them talk about yourself when these folks are way more decorated and amazing sitting right here in front of you. Without further ado...
I don't own my own barbecue thing.
Without further ado, it's truly my honor to introduce our session moderator for this panel today, Cindy Brunson, our newly Murrow Hall of Famer. I get to call you a Hall of Famer now of the Murrow College. For those of you who were not in the luncheon today, this is a tremendous honor. Cindy brings to us 25 years of wonderful, rich experience in broadcast, also women in sports and sports broadcast. She is truly a role model for all of us, so we thank you. And also, this woman bleeds crimson and gray like no other. If you don't follow her on Twitter, I highly recommend it. We are privileged and honored to have you here today, and we're excited for this conversation with y'all, and I'll let you introduce our panelists. So thank you for being here, Cindy. Cindy Brunson.
Thanks so much. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. The coach to my left needs no introduction. Cami Etheridge has put Washington State women's basketball on the map, and I do bleed crimson and gray. I had no trouble picking out what dress I was going to wear today, and I have been able to pop my collar a lot over the last several years as a Pac-12 network play-by-play for women's basketball. So thank you for that, Cami. Charlize Ledger-Walker is a generational talent. In the game, we call her a 3-level scorer. She can score from the 3, she's got a beautiful mid-range game, and she has got a deceptive first step that gets her to the rim in a heartbeat. She has listened to me. You do. She has listened to me over the last couple of seasons, and she has bought into playing defense, right, Cami?
Yes.
Okay. And she has increased her percentage from 3, which has to be at or near 40%, and she flirted with that a lot this season because that's what the WNBA scouts look for. And as a WNBA broadcaster for the Phoenix Mercury, who I am trying to insist, hey, there's this gal from New Zealand. When we come up on the next draft, keep an eye on her. So I applaud her hard work, her leadership, and the fact that she wears being the face of women's basketball for not only this university, but for the Pacific Northwest, for the Pac-12, and globally. Like, if you go to New Zealand, she is a rock star. If you thought Caitlin Clark created buzz, it pales in comparison to what Charlize does in her native country. So, I mean, literally, they changed the rules of age eligibility for the national team because this youngin was coming up taking spots from the elders. They're like, no, you gotta wait till you're 16. You're good enough when you're 12, 13, but you gotta wait. So that's what a generational talent she is. So first of all, I would like to thank you both for that incredible run in the Pac-12 tournament. I am so grateful to UCLA for slaying the dragon and putting you in a position to succeed. And I would like to just take this opportunity. I want to start with you, Cammie, because there has been fantastic talent here at Washington State University women's basketball. Bobby Buckets, the all-time leading scorer in men's or women's basketball here on campus. Yeah, take that, Klay Thompson, whatever. My point being, incredible talent has come through the door, but it hasn't all come together. And that is because of culture. So Cammie, my first question to you is, how did you change the culture? What was your first mission when you arrived at Washington State to turn this program around?
I'm a little short. Thank you, and awesome, and congratulations, and I'm just thrilled to be here with you. And what a support, what a, little voice in our ears, and it's so good to get advice and thoughts from you in particular as someone that's on a national scene, and see so much more than just our little vision. And when you expand your thoughts and you have people from the outside telling you things and thoughts and this is what you got to be thinking, and it really opens our eyes to bigger things. And I think that's part of growing, and that's part of putting yourselves in positions to see more, see what the best ones out there are doing, and try to emulate them. And you help us in doing that. So thanks so much. And again, congratulations. This needs to be about you and not about us. But you're doing what you do best, and I appreciate that and being a part of it. Again, it's a thrill to be here. I didn't think I would ever be saying that it's a thrill to be here as a Pac-12 champion and a tournament champion. And
but you are.
We're here. Can't take that away from us. Got a couple of our players over here, Yo Tedder and Kira Gardner's over here too. Mm-hmm. They're getting they get some points in class. That's the only reason they're here. They're not here to a little extra credit work, I think, right? Yeah, we'll take it any way we can get it. But I think taking over a program, I was an assistant, associate head coach for a long time at K-State, and I was allowed to really grow and probably took the path that a lot of men's coaches have to do. You got to do your time. You got to learn a lot. You got to figure out what to do, what you want to do, and what not to do. And then, obviously got pushed out of the nest and took over a smaller program at Northern Colorado. And really just that was my little, what do you call it, test tube. That was my little petri dish, and this is how to take a lesser program and build it. And we did. We started with culture. You said it right. Wanted character players, wanted to grow character, wanted to grow the things that you don't have to depend on talent. You can work hard whether you're talented or not. You can compete whether you're talented or not. You can be a good teammate whether you're talented or not. You can be trustworthy, and those are some of our core values. So character traits, and obviously you have to have talent, and you have to have people that are passionate to play the sport and compete at a high level. But we took over a little team of rugrats and just demanded more and expected more and put a standard in place and grew all those talents and culture pieces and character pieces. And I promise you, when you start from the foundational part of culture building and you just instill it and you make people live to a standard, maybe not in year one it sinks in, but in year 3 and year 4 and year 5 and when you get special talented players around that and you get those younger players now as seniors, the coaches don't have to do very much. Your culture's in place, so you don't have to worry about work ethic, and you don't have to worry about people showing up for practice with an expectation of hard. Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard today, and we're just at that point. We have a mix of unbelievable talent. We have players that have great expectations on themselves, but there's such a culture in place where we want to be great for each other. We want to play for each other. A little selfless, you know, they understand that it's not always about them. And I think it just, if you work on that piece, the other stuff needs to take care of itself. And we had a great year all year, but we had a magical week of just people playing to their roles, people playing real joyful, and having some unbelievably special individual play from really special individual talented players. So, but I'm convinced that you have to start from we didn't try to do it fast. And we had good players. We had some unbelievable players. Maybe if the portal had existed back then, we would have tried to get infused it a little faster. But I'm just so proud of the players that we brought in our first year, Sheer Levy and Michaela Jones, who didn't get to experience this, but they were a foundational piece to our culture and growing it the right way. And obviously, when you infuse it with great talent, a Charlize, a Yo, and some players that are coming in behind them, young players that have a chance to step into big roles. You have a chance to really grow and do something special, and I think this is an example of doing that.
Outstanding. Charlize, for you, when did you feel that tectonic shift, that the culture was changing and the tide was rolling with it?
Yeah, I think coming in freshman year, I had a lot of expectations already for the program. I knew the vision and kind of what Coach she had, in the recruiting process, what she was wanting to do with the program. So coming in, I knew there was already great seniors on the team. Obviously, my sister was here at the time, and so she had given me a little bit of info on what was going on, and I had a lot of faith in that team back then, that we could, prove people wrong. I think we were ranked 12th my freshman year, and I think we finished maybe 7th or, middle of the pack, which is, again, people weren't expecting us to do that.
And that's because they hadn't seen Charlize.
Well, we have a lot of international players, as you guys all know, and nobody knows about internationals. But regardless, when I first came into the gym and had, my first few practices, I was like, yeah, this is, we've got a special thing brewing here. And just having those, like Coach was saying, character people in the gym every day, the biggest person I think of is Michaela Jones. Obviously didn't play a ton of minutes, but was always the first one in the gym, just the most positive person, best teammate you could ask for. And having her as a leader and a senior on that team, there was no doubt that our culture was going to strengthen from people like her and us younger players coming through. But I think probably for me the turning point or something like that was probably at the start of the year. Coming in, I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, a bit of a shift. You lose a really big voice in the gym in Crystal and just the leadership that she brought. But obviously, we had some really talented freshmen coming in, and I was really excited. And I think throughout, our first few little pickup games, I could see the talent that we did have, and I was really, really excited to see what we could do. And then obviously our seniors stepping in to more leadership roles. Obviously Ula's been a leader since she's been here. Just her voice is such a big presence. And then, but also, Emma and G stepping into different roles that they haven't had to do before in terms of being seniors and just being the best teammates they could be. And you bring back, experience that you've had in the past 2 years and like most of our starters and things like that. And so I think right from the start of this year, I had a lot of excitement and faith, and I knew the culture piece was already there just from what we had established the past 2 years. So, but yeah, pretty much right from the start of the season.
That's why she was so smiley at Media Day. I remember that. Yes, please.
Well, it just reminded me of, we played Oregon the year before you got here. Yep. And Crystal wasn't playing then, so she was sitting out that year, right? Mm-hmm. And we went there on a scrimmage because we only played them once during the non-conference or the conference season. So we were like, well, that'll be our exhibition game. No, you can't publicize that. You just have to do that on the down low. They just crushed us, and then we played them, and that was Sabrina's. Mm-hmm. That was their team. That was big time team.
That was a team. Had the Final Four been played, Oregon would have won it.
I think they would have. And they had that, and then they just crushed us by 40, I think, during the one time that we played them that year. And then the next year we lost on a buzzer beater. We had a shot at a three in the buzzer at home, and there was an Australian on that team. I can't remember who it is. Yeah, maybe so. And she asked Ula afterwards. She was like, "What just happened to your team? What's going on?" And she just said, "The sisters." That's all I can say. Is the sisters showed up, and Crystal coming in with the mindset. And it's a lot of things, but when you get special competitors, special leaders, special talent that are about the right things, that's how fast you can turn it in a sport like ours, just because you don't need, it's not like football, you need so many, you just need some really, really special leaders on your team. And so we got the sisters that year, and that changed the tide.
Okay, I love that. Where's your gold medal? Yeah, she's won a gold medal playing basketball for Team USA.
Yeah.
Her jersey is hanging in the rafter of the new Texas basketball facility. It's the only female face hanging. She has won a national championship. She knows how good LSU feels today because she's been there for Texas. So what do those experiences do to fortify your message and changing the culture at Washington State?
Yeah, I mean, I just think, I don't think I was ever the most talented. I was
Liar.
Deceptively quick and deceptively, I had some game to me in some ways, and did some things that just, I think the biggest compliment I was ever paid as a player was I made people better. So it wasn't my particular thing, but when I was on the court, other people played at a higher level. I could get them the ball. I made them look good. So people played really hard around me, too, which, it's a part of, that's the uniqueness about our game, is you don't just have to be able to score the basketball. There's so many ways you can affect the game and make your team better. And I had some of those things that don't show up on the stat sheet sometimes, that I had that ability. And because I was that gritty and kind of, the tangible kind of player, I just believe in it. I know it. I can speak to those things because I do think those are the glue part of a team. You got to get talented people that can make a basket and guard and have post play and have to have these certain things. But you need everyone on the floor needs to be gritty and competitive and resilient and tough and unafraid of whatever comes at you. And gosh, if you can translate that and you can get your players to be that and become that, you have a chance to create something. And so that is a part of my DNA, and I think everywhere I've been as a player and as a coach, it's real easy for me to demonstrate that and to try to coach that and to try to attract players that are about those things. And I think the ones that win, it's automatic. You have to have those things, and then now it's up to us to continue to recruit and get players that are talented, but we can't forget you have to have that drive and that toughness about you, and really continue to grow that as we go.
Charlize, when did you realize that you had that drive?
The drive just to be good?
To be elite.
Oh. Good question. Honestly, probably year 12 of high school is when I really seriously started thinking about my aspirations.
You have 13 years, too.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. New Zealand, you go from year 7 to 13.
They need more education. It takes them longer. To get.
I don't think it's that. I think it's that. But no, yeah, year 12, and that's when legally people can start recruiting you and start talking to you. And so before then, I was always really into basketball. It was my number one thing. But up until that point, I knew I was good, but on a scale in New Zealand compared to places in college, you don't really know how good you are. Mm-hmm. So in year 12, when I seriously started thinking about it and started to put film together and talk to coaches over here, that's when I started actually watching college basketball. I don't think I had ever watched a college basketball game prior to that. It's just not something that's huge in New Zealand.
You picked a good time to join the party.
Yeah. And so I think, after going through the recruiting process and getting here and my freshman year, obviously, I kind of had a decent freshman year.
Okay, Pac-12 freshman of the year. Yeah, that was decent.
Figured out that I could, compete at this level and against really, really good players. And I knew prior coming into that, I told Coachy I want to go to a program where I can be developed and go make it to the league. So that was one of my number one goals, or at least, play professionally after college. But, after that freshman year and seeing where I kind of weighed up against other people, that was kind of a big turning point for me. I can actually achieve big things or elite things if I put my mind to it. So probably, yeah, that period of year 12 to that end of the freshman year is when I was like, okay, this is definitely like a pathway for me and something I want to pursue.
Yeah, as
Can
soon
I
as you
change the subject on that a little bit?
Sure.
Her parents would say she was wildly different than her sister. So I think it was in her, you know, because we recruited her sister, and she wasn't that serious. But when we recruited her, we saw her at what age were you then?
14.
And she was, while we were meeting with her, Crystal, she was at the gym playing and doing things with basketball. So I think that's interesting. She might not have known about this, but gosh, she was different.
You saw
it. And Crystal grew into that kind of competitor. I think it's been in her since the day she's more like Leanne. Would you agree?
Definitely more like my mom.
Okay, I tell you what, since you said out loud and put it into the universe that you want to go to the W, that has become my dream with you. So I'm in lockstep. I just want you to know that. I scream your name from every mountaintop that I can. This year I was very honored in a bunch of honors coming my way. I must be getting old, but whatever. I voted for every Hall of Fame position for Naismith in Hoop Hall this year, the Cheryl Miller, the Nancy Lieberman, Ann Myers-Drysdale, Katrina McLean, Lisa Leslie, and Charlize was at the top of my list for the award that she was up for. I got it to the top 10. I'm going to get her that award. You just need to come back because I've heard rumors. Let's just quash this right now. You are coming back for your senior season. You are not eligible for the WNBA because you are not old enough, but you are coming back for your senior season.
I am eligible. I am this year.
Okay.
I'm old enough.
Okay.
But I am coming back for my.
Sorry I made you guys wait. I probably should have started with that. Charlize, of the teammates that you have now and the ones who are coming in, who has blown you away? Who has improved the most that even you yourself went, oh my gosh, I did not see that coming?
I could name a few, honestly.
Name as many as you want.
Well, I think the first person I thought of was probably Tara Wallach. You know, her coming in as a freshman, great body for, you know, basketball, the size she has, the versatility that she has. She can play, you know, 1 through 5. Well, maybe not 5 yet, but she could if she wanted to. And obviously coming in as a freshman, you know, she didn't really know kind of how to use her body as well as she could. And her confidence was a bit up and down throughout her freshman year. But I think this past year she really bursted out onto the scene and showed everyone glimpses of how good she can actually be and become. And I think she took big strides this year in just, you know, different areas of her game. So not that it surprised me, but I think watching her growth just over this past year has been really fun to watch. Another one is, you know, obviously AT is phenomenal as her confidence and her ability to play make and get other people open and look good for a freshman is something you don't see every day, especially in the Pac-12. I mean, it's so hard to come in the Pac-12 and make an impact and have an effect on a team as much as she did. So her growth, I think, is only, you know, going to be tenfold over these over these next few years. So I'm excited to watch her and see what she's able to do, especially under the guidance of obviously an ultimate point guard. And, you know, Laurie Kane as well, the knowledge that they have. I think, obviously, Bella, her improvement has been huge. I think that's just a testament to her actually, you know, putting in the work and wanting to be better. She's always had the potential there, but obviously co-most improved last year, and then I think she's still improved this year and just being able to, her ability to finish and everything like that. So, yeah, like I think those three are at the top of my mind right now thinking about it. But again, we have a lot of talent on our team, and anybody at any given point in this season can have a great game and step out. And I think over this summer, we're going to have a lot of improvement individually from a lot of players, and I'm excited to see that, and for you guys to all see that as well. So, yeah.
Very cool. You guys are at the forefront of the Pac-12 for women's college basketball and increased viewership. We just saw a Final Four that had nearly 10 million viewers on game day. Shame on ESPN for putting that game in the afternoon. God only knows what would have happened had it been an evening tip. I'll just say that out loud. I used to work there. You guys are a part of that. So, Coach Etheridge, for you, what does that mean to you to have such an impact on the next generation of basketball players?
Well, I mean, I don't know that I'm very good at looking at a national scope. I mean, I think people have really made national impacts. Like, you look at what, Caitlin Clark did for Iowa, and even, goodness, LSU and Kim Mulkey and changing that and, going from whatever fans they had to now what they have. I mean,
how much is Brian Kelly sweating right now? Seriously, Mulkey got it done in 2 years. He's got to be looking over his shoulder going, what?
And so I look at it like what I want for us in this small community is I want to improve our attendance. It's time.
Yes.
It is time.
Yes. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors.
And I'm just here to tell you, I told my administration they should up our ticket price because it is time not to give tickets away. And I know that might make people mad. It's time to be a product that you need to pay for.
Yes.
And we're worth it. And maybe and I've always said it, it's our job to put the product on the floor to win. And we've been a little spotty. I mean, we made the tournament. That should have been enough to get people there, but I get it. COVID changed everybody for a couple of years, and we're all still coming out of it. And then we make it the next year. It is time to kill our season ticket, and it is time for people to show up and us to become a little bit of some of that. We got to catch the national scene.
It's already the toughest place to play.
It is.
Teams hate coming to Pullman. I cannot tell you how many teams I hear from throughout the conference. It's the toughest road trip. It's hard to get to, blah, blah, blah.
And
it's
now
really
we've
not.
gotten
It's
good.
Yeah, and now you've gotten good, so you make it's a double-edged sword. So, tell your friends, tell your neighbors to come out. I have seen the attendance levels at Washington State not improve, and it's embarrassing. And I know it can be done because I watched Adia Barnes do it at Arizona. She went from, I literally, 7 years ago, was calling games in that gym, and I could hear myself echo across the way. There was no fans in the building. And for the last 2 years, Arizona has led the league in attendance. The product has been on the floor, and Tucson has turned out. I challenge Pullman to do the same. Please continue.
No, that's it. That's all I can say because and that it adds to the second part. And I hope to have this conversation with my team because I haven't. We had a great seed. We deserved that seed. We worked to get that seed. We ran up against a great team in Florida Gulf Coast that was probably underseeded. Tough. But you know what? You know how you can fix that is be a top 16. So we don't want to be a top 5 seed. We want to be a 4 seed, and we want to host. And that's a big ask and a want, and I'm going to put that to our team. But to do that, you got to blow out the attendance, and you got to make this place where people can't come in here and beat us. And the attendance and the students and what could happen at this place and in Pullman and in this community and around this area, it could happen. It's just we got to have bigger eyes and bigger dreams, and people have to be committed to supporting a team that's really worthy of support, and they deserve it.
Awesome stuff. How about you, Charlize? What goes through your mind when you see the television numbers for the Final Four?
Oh, it's insane to me. I mean, I grew up playing in gyms that, it was just your parents and your siblings if they wanted to come. And so for me, coming over here and just seeing the size of the gyms that you play in, that was already like a shock to me. And then going and watching the tournament and seeing those numbers and the attendance that they get and the viewership that they get, I think it's just so amazing for women's sport, college basketball in general, and that is definitely something I think we'd all want to experience as players. But yeah, it definitely starts, here at home in Pullman. The support, I feel like we do have a lot of support, kind of behind the scenes, and you have a lot of people congratulating you and things like that. But the actual attendance in games makes such a difference. When you're on the floor, just looking up and, seeing the crowd and seeing everybody is there for you, just cheering you on. It's different when you're out there playing. And, for the past 3 years, I've been waiting for a game, where people come out and show out. And we definitely had higher attendance this year.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you.
We're not complaining for those people.
And
for
we
them.
love everybody who's
No,
already,
the diehards.
Yeah,
The diehards have been fantastic because I finally, thank you, got a game up here in the non-conference schedule. It was my first game calling in Pullman since the new floor went down, I think. I mean, it's been a minute. And it was so, I have to tell you, because you weren't in the other room for the Hall of Achievement deal, calling your career milestone 1,000 point was on my reel. Like, that was a career highlight for me. And the fact that she was 3 points away and did it on a 3, I almost passed out. I was just like, are you kidding me? And that's what I was thinking when I saw the clip this afternoon. I was like, that gym is empty behind her. And that's just wrong, because look at what she's done to this point. If you're not watching her, you're missing out, because she reminds me so much of Diana Taurasi with the Phoenix Mercury, because she lifts everybody else up around her. She enjoys assisting on a basket as much as she does making one. And that's just rare, and it's beautiful to see. I could talk to you guys literally for all day, but I'm told I'm supposed to open it up for questions. So does anybody have a question for, I see hand up in the back with a sparkly jacket. Ooh, I see that Kim Mulkey impersonation. Yes.
Hi. Okay, I'm loud, so hopefully this works.
I think it's turn on.
Hello?
Check. Should be.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Hi, my name is Kara Hawkins-Jedlicka. I'm a scholarly assistant professor here. I am insufferable about women's sports. And this last week has been beyond. And I think there's a lot, at least on Twitter, there's a lot of conversation about, oh my goodness, we're so surprised by the numbers of the viewership. But it's always been there. It's just been undervalued, right?
Oh, no. It hasn't been put on a big platform.
Exactly.
Like it has been. Mm-hmm. Once it is put on a gigantic platform, people can find it easily and get to it.
Right.
They will consume it.
Yeah, like the other Iowa big baseball movie. If you build it, they will come. If you can actually show them access, they will tune in. So my question, because I think, Coach, you were really hitting on this quite a bit, was we do need to have more people out. We need to make Pullman a women's basketball school. Period. The community can do so much. What would you like to see, because this is a lot of comm students, what would you like to see promotions-wise, or what could we be doing better promotions-wise to get more people out and to support you guys?
I just want to jump in really quick. Storytelling. If you come to practice, there is not a group that is more generous with their time and has amazing stories than women's basketball. It's why it dominates my career path, because it is just chock full of joy. And as a student in broadcasting, if you're writing for the Evergreen, if you are doing Cable 8, this is a story. If you put it out there, that creates interest. And interest drives ticket sales. It is such a symbiotic relationship, and you can play a huge part in that in making this a basketball town. That's just my broadcasting perspective. I will defer to the coach.
I don't know that I have an answer, but what I think is real, and you guys could tell me if I'm out of my mind, and I think it's different. It's apples to oranges a little bit with volleyball, but it seems like there's freshmen get involved with volleyball. Students, maybe I'm talking students, there seems to be a real core group of people that go to the volleyball matches, and maybe it's because the convenience of, it's across the street versus across the street. I don't know if it's that, but and it's a little bit nicer weather. I don't know. I think they do a great job of really generating a little bit more student activity, and football clearly gets the student in. I don't know how to reach the students it's like, and I know we compete with men, like if we could conceivably be in the same week and we could have 2 games and they could have 2 home games, and all of a sudden you're asking fans to come to 4 games in a week. I mean, I know we get into some of those situations, but I don't know how to get the students. We can go to fraternities and sororities. We can appeal to, if we can appeal to the women on campus and get, sometimes we need to fight for each other. Women need to fight for women's sports and be more attracted to support that and be there, and versus thinking they got to, I don't know, I don't want to say anything bad about going to the men's, but it's just like such a cultural thing to go to the football game. It's a cultural thing and a social thing to go to men's basketball sometimes as a group. And we just don't have that. We don't have that innate, that's what we've always done, and there's a game tonight and the girls are playing, and so we all go to the game. Doesn't exist, but I wish we could. We would get out in front of that. We would go to any event in the community and to try to attract that. So I'm open for any ideas, but let's start with the comms students. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Let's get a core group right here.
College on campus at Murrow. Come on. Hello.
And the ones that write the best, and the ones that look the best, and the ones that direct the best. Come on.
That's all I'm saying. Yes. Question right here. Here comes the microphone.
Okay, so first off, before the question, just on that note, I hadn't watched a ton of women's college basketball before I came to WSU this year as a transfer. And then just going to games just because I tried to go to every WSU sports game has definitely turned me into.
Stop right there. What do you want to be when you grow up?
My dream is to announce baseball, but
okay.
Also.
Let me tell you what. You're not going to get to announce baseball right away because a lot of people want to do that. And you might have to start in minor league baseball, but there's nobody going, hey, I want to broadcast women's basketball. Yeah. You know why? Because when the team made the WNIT a few years ago, I came right in and took the microphone because nobody was there. So if you want to get reps in and get better, this is a sport that you should seriously be considering.
Yeah, my first game with KUGR for basketball of men's or women's was the home opener against LMU. And it was a blowout, but I called that buzzer beater in the first half as Kyle Woods, and that is on my reels and stuff. So that was super cool. So me and Sam and I know all the other guys also write for the Evergreen, so I'll be pushing that out. I've pushed out stories about Aster and Ula and all this great stuff, so it's been super awesome. But side note, but anyways, the question that I was going to ask is just going into a year now, you've come off 2 straight NCAA tournament appearances, 3 straight tournament appearances. Like I said, I didn't watch enough women's college basketball before, but I do now. Anyways, what your preparation looks like going into a season with higher expectations for yourselves from your coaches and also from the hopefully ever increasing fan base as well. Just what's different about the preparation there, and when you go into games, how you kind of keep a level head without letting expectations get ahead of you.
Yeah, she'll have great answers to this too, but this is a time right now that we're meeting with our players. We only have 3 weeks of individual workouts, and we've had 2 hours this week. So this is a time where we literally put a plan in place for the next, the entire summer, basically until next September, and go, we got to fix this in your game. We got to grow this in your game. This is the time. We said it today. It's a safe place to go make mistakes now. There's no consequence to mess up your handle. So we got to grow some things in every individual player. Some people need to work on things specifically. Charlize, unfortunately, she's so talented in so many areas, she has to work her tail off in every area of the game. So she's got a lot of work to do. Tara is so versatile. She's got to improve in a lot of ways. But this is awesome. This is what we do. We put a plan in place for your individual growth, but the best thing you can do a lot of times is play a ton of 2-on-2 and 3-on-3, because then you got to add this decision making, and the game is so key in decision making. So big emphasis on player development right now, individual development, obviously, and that will translate into our team development. The other part of that is hopefully these guys are competitive. They want to win. And I would say that it's so interesting when you think of some of our young players. I'm looking at Yo, and I keep looking at her over there. But the first we made the NCAA tournament that first year. No one really left our program. All 5 starters were back. The next year we lost Crystal, so 4 of 5 starters are back, and that's when the year when Tara walks into the starting lineup. So now she's in the starting lineup in place of that. And then this year, Ula's the only one back. So really, in year 4, in the 4th year of that first run, we've lost 3 starters, but we just have a core of players that are basically, they were that young and they're that experienced and they're that, they're talented now and they're smart and they've been through the everything imaginable and they want more. And so I don't think we want to shy away from expectations. We train for those moments, and we want to be great, and we want to do better than we've done in the past. Now, will we sit up here with the Pac-12 championship? Well, I don't think anyone's afraid of that. Do we want to go further in the NCAA tournament? I hope every single one of us wants to do that. It's time, and it's time for a lot of things. We've got expectations on us, just like we want to put it on our fans, but we're not shy about our wants and desires and where we believe we can go, and we're going to keep pushing, and we've got great people that want to do that and embrace that.
Listen, since 2013, 6 different Pac-12 teams on the women's side have made it to a Final Four. I want it to be 7 right here. I'm just putting it out in the universe. Charlize, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think there's necessarily anything different compared to the past 2 years in terms of prep and how you go about going into the next season. I think it ultimately, there's no secret. It's just hard work. How good do you want to be coming into the next season, both individually and for the team? I mean, if you go away and you work on yourself individually, which the summer is all about, there's no doubt that the team's going to be better collectively. So I don't know if there's nothing like specific that I can tell you that is going to be in our prep that's been different, but it just comes down to how badly we want it. And this group that we have in the gym right now in our spring workout block, I think we're all really hungry to get back to work pretty much, and bring along be so tight that we can bring along the new freshmen coming in, and they're going to slide right into a culture that's already built. We all know what the standard is in the gym, and I think just taking all of that into the prep throughout the summer and preseason is going to be huge for us. So,
the only thing I think these guys have missed out on, if I could interject, is the basketball IQ from this group is elite. They got the win against Utah in Las Vegas because they changed their entire defense in a day. One day, to show Utah something they hadn't seen from them in the regular season. That, you just can't put that on another team in a heartbeat. So I think that's a credit to what you bring to the program. And that's why it's so fun to watch and to cover, because you literally, first of all, sports are the best form of reality television, period, because you don't know what's going to happen. Las Vegas thought South Carolina was going to win. Wrong. They were a double-digit favorite, whatever. And then Iowa was a 3-point favorite against LSU. And what did LSU come out and do? Hit threes like they hadn't hit all season. You just never know what's going to happen. And that's why I love this game. But this team in particular has the core, to Cammie's point, of only losing one player here or one player there. Last year they brought back more than 80% of their scoring. They're going to do that again this season. So they're ready to handle the high expectations.
Right, love these questions.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Trevor Junt. I'm the deputy sports editor for the Evergreen. I'm the vice president of special projects for Cable 8, and I call games for KUGR. We have a new EIC, which is editor-in-chief for the Evergreen, who's very passionate about women's sports. We have a new KUGR staff that will be very passionate about women's sports, and our vice president of special projects upcoming will be passionate about women's sports too. So how would you say we can improve our coverage? Because we are the student media. We are the people that show everybody else sports content. How would you guys say that we could improve our coverage of women's sports and women's basketball.
Put it on the front page, assign a beat reporter, and work in conjunction with television and the TV arm of it, and tag team it to do the long form stories written and then the short $1.30 that can air on Cable 8. That is the best way, because you're sharing information, right? Cross-pollination. So if you want to take a story about Yo and then expand that to international players, expand that to who's coming to campus, because there's another international star, a big, that's coming. So you have so many jumping off points, and you can have stories for days on end.
We could have this conversation all day. Can we please thank our esteemed panelists today and moderator Cindy Brunson? Thank you all so much. This concludes today's session, and we'll see you this afternoon for plenty more sessions. Thanks y'all so much.
Thanks, go Cougs!
Go Cougs!